Balak, a vort from the Parshah. The following vort is from Rabbi Avram Yitzchak HaKohen Kook of blessed memory, and it comes from his work on the Talmud called Ayin Aye. In the Parshah of Balak, we find prophetic verses of exquisite beauty and an inspiring story of God's vigilant watch over the Jewish people. But to truly appreciate this Torah portion, consider this remarkable teaching of the sages. The Talmud in Brachos 12b relates that at one time the rabbis contemplated incorporating the Parshah of Balak into the daily prayers alongside the recitation of the Shema. This is truly astounding. What lesson is contained in the words of Bilam, a villainous prophet steeped in blind hatred for the Jewish people, that could possibly compare to the Torah's most fundamental beliefs as delineated in the Shema, the centerpiece of Jewish prayer? Fortunately, the Talmud clues us in to what makes this parsha so special. Its unique message may be found in the following verse, comparing the Jewish people to a fearsome lion. Israel crouches, he lies like a lion and a lioness. Who dares rouse him? Numbers 24:9. Yes, it is a beautiful metaphor describing the timeless strength and vitality of the Jewish people. But does this verse justify reading the entire portion of Balak twice a day, together with the Shema? Clearly the sages saw an inner link between Balak and the Shema. In order to understand this connection, we must first analyze the principal themes of the Shema. The sages taught in Brachos 13a that the first passage of the Shema expresses God's unity and our acceptance of His rule, and that the theme of the second passage is our acceptance of the mitzvos. However, these two axioms of Judaism, accepting God's reign and accepting His mitzvos, are missing a common link. What is it that combines them, leading to universal acceptance of God through the performance of mitzvos? The missing link is the Jewish people. The lofty aspirations expressed in the Shema necessitate the existence of a nation who, throughout the generations, observes the mitzvos and introduces the concept of God's unity to the world. This is the mission of the Jewish people. In fact, they were created specifically for this purpose. This people I created for me, so that they will proclaim my praise. Isaiah 43:21. Now we can understand why the sages wanted to add this particular verse to the recital of the Shema. Bilam poetically compared the Jewish people to a sleeping lion that none dare disturb. Everyone fears the formidable powers of this majestic creature, even when it sleeps. The latent power of the Jewish people is such that even when sleeping, even when they are exiled from their land and many of their unique national institutions, such as the temple, Sanhedrin, Kohanim, prophets, etc., are dormant, nonetheless, their eternal nature is legendary. The survival of the Jewish people throughout the generations, despite all odds and in violation of all laws of history, enables them to persist in their mission of proclaiming God's unity. Their indestructible nature is in itself a sanctification of God's name. If the significance of the Parshah of Balak can be reduced to this single verse, then why not add just that verse to the daily prayers? Why add the entire section? The Talmud explains that we may not add the verse by itself, since the Torah should not be broken up arbitrarily. Any section that Moses did not divide, we may not divide. This explanation is difficult to understand. We find many individual verses incorporated in the liturgy. Why not this one? It appears that detaching this particular verse from the rest of Bilam's prophecy poses a special danger. By itself, the verse could be construed as extolling nationalism for its own sake. The unique strength of the Jewish people is not meant to serve the goals of self-centered nationalism, military conquest, or national aggrandizement. The eternal nature of Israel must be understood within the context of their unique mission to promulgate God's name in the world. Therefore, we must take care not to separate this verse from the rest of the portion. In the end, the sages did not add the Parshah of Balak to the daily prayers. They felt that such a lengthy addition would be too great a burden for the people. Reading this portion would be a burden since its message is not applicable to every generation. Not every generation is able to appreciate the role that Israel's timeless vitality plays in achieving its spiritual goals. Yet the very fact that the sages wanted to incorporate it in the prayers indicates that a time will come when this message will be accepted and internalized by the nation as a whole. Have a great Shabbos.